Shit, what's this podcast called?
Discourse of Human Events.
The discourse is just crazy.
Everything's okay, I'm just trying to act my age. Yeah, I wanna know where the hell the days go. Yeah, I wanna know where the hell the days go. I wanna look and feel years younger, baby. I wanna look and feel years younger.
All right, everyone. I'm here with Michael Maclean, 2-stripe brown belt at Relson Gracie Academy in Columbus, Ohio. First off, thank you for coming on.
You're very welcome.
And I would like to just start off by having you introduce yourself, starting with really what got you on the mats for jiu-jitsu, and then kind of your journey from then to being a 2-stripe brown belt today.
Okay. So, let's see. Back when I'm 31 years old now, so I've been training a little over 11 years. So I was probably almost 20 years old. I guess the summer before I turned 20. I moved into a house with 3 of my best friends, one of which was an individual named Corey Zimmerman. He actually grew up with us. I actually grew up riding bikes with him and his older brothers, and then he went on to move to Cincinnati with his mom and finished out the last 2 years of high school there. And we were all moving into this house on Broad Street in Bexley, and we were talking one day, and he was going to his first year in CCAD, which was super close to our presumed new house, and so he ended up moving into our basement. Pretty super cool dude.
Yeah, you had a basement dweller.
His nickname was Freedom, and so he was basement dweller. But I've been growing up with Corey for a long time. We were friends growing up, and I never knew he even fought at all. Like he apparently when he was in Cincinnati, he was fighting in Kentucky. He had like 3 amateur bouts in
Fighting
MMA.
MMA, okay.
And I didn't know what Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was, who the family was. I think I knew Hoist Gracie was vaguely. But, we moved in together, and he, had this bag full of boxing gloves and all this kind of stuff, and he would take with him. And then one day he was talking about how he's going to this MMA class.
Yeah.
And apparently it's a student-affiliated thing at CCAD. So Columbus College of Art and Design, there was an extracurricular apparently you could take. And that was an MMA class. So it was taught by an individual named Sammy, and he's now a black belt at Columbus Mixed Martial Arts. But when I met him, he was a 4-stripe blue belt, and he was also pretty prestigious in Muay Thai at that point in time. He had been training Muay Thai way longer than Jiu-Jitsu. Okay. So that's essentially who the instructor was, teaching Corey and a group of other individuals in there. And so I went to my first class with Corey. He convinced me to go, and I was pretty pompous about it. He's like a 140-pound dude, and I feel like I lived my whole life with Corey. He was always smaller than me, So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot, whatever. And joked about beating him up and stuff like that. I got to this class, and we did Muay Thai for a while, which it was clear that I'd never punched and kicked before, or at least correctly. And then there was an hour of that, and then immediately following was an hour of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And so I'd never heard about it, and that was my first introduction to it. Was roll. I got to roll actually the first time I trained. I
sparred, live
rolling. Okay. We did. It's probably I think it was a class in the full guard that Sammy taught. I didn't have a gi or anything, and everybody else did. And so I remember rolling with Corey. Corey taught me up real quick. I think he was trying to make a point, and definitely submitted me. And I remember him being pretty lost. And then I was rolling a couple other guys that one my size that kind of murdered me. I think he was a former wrestler. And then there was also a girl in the room. I think her name was Kayla. It was her name. She handled me, dude. I was doing everything I could not to get strangled by this woman.
Was she a white belt, blue belt?
Oh yeah, very white belt. Yeah, she was no blue belt at all. Yeah. There was no Sammy being a blue belt to me at that time. I was like, oh man, this guy's like a genie,
Yeah.
And And so after that, those battles, you know, with the peers, if you will, I had the opportunity to train with Sammy, which, you know, a 4-stripe blue belt at that time to just your average human like you. I mean, you're far into your blue belt, so you'd understand rolling with somebody who's never trained before. It's pretty easy, to kind of take them through the ropes and then, you know, kind of humble them in some way and show them.
Weird.
It's weird, That's like a superpower.
Yeah,
they're like, what are you like? How do you stop from drowning? I don't know. So that's how it felt with Sammy, man. He toyed me. Like I remember thinking, like, what do you do? Like, how did he even do that? He swept me in my bag, his mouth. I can't even escape. I couldn't get out. I was trying so hard to. After a couple minutes, I mean, I was completely exhausted. And just man, I remember I left there like, oh, that was crazy. Oh man, I better just, you know, I better go back to that, you know. And so I went back, and I probably went back for like a couple months, and then gained enough experience in both to realize that I didn't. You know, whatever thoughts I had of maybe being an MMA fighter like Corey kind of went out the window. But realized I did find some interest in this jiu-jitsu grappling thing. So I didn't really like the work and the cardio taking kickboxing either. Man, kicking and punching, buddy.
It really takes it out of you.
It takes it out of you, man. And I got kicked a couple times. Yeah. And that understanding getting kicked by someone who understands, you know this, because you have a Muay Thai background. You get kicked by someone who understands how to kick you. It sucks.
It's a whole different experience.
Yeah, it sucks. Like, you're like, man, a leg can really do some damage. And so, you know, I remember going up to Sammy and basically saying, hey, you know, I have an interest in this jiu-jitsu thing, but I don't think I have an interest in the Muay Thai part. I think I'm just going to come for the second hour. Yeah. And of course, any instructor doesn't want to hear that. So, but he was nice. He wasn't like mean about it. But he looked at me seriously. He's like, "You serious about learning jiu-jitsu? Then you need to go to Relson Gracie Academy." And so I was like, okay. And, you know, I had no idea who the Gracie family was. And it's funny because Sammy he was from Dubai, so he had a pretty thick accent. And
Dubai.
Yeah, he was from Dubai. And so when he said, I thought he said House of Gracie. So I went home and Googled House of Gracie and nothing came up. And I was thinking, like, what is Sammy talking about? And so I Googled more like, you know, Gracie Columbus, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and all these things. And of course I found the Relson Gracie Academy that we attend. And I remember seeing Robin Giesler, our instructor, you know, just in his gi, his arms crossed. Back then he still had a little bit of hair, so it was like super shaved, but like black and like a goatee. I mean, he looked like the Shredder without his mask. And I'm like, that's the guy? Like, that's the guy? Oh, shit. Like, I don't know what I'm in for, man. And so I show up to Relson Gracie Academy, and of course Robin's like the nicest person alive. So I meet him, he's like, I'm Robin Giesler, and I'm like, you're really nice. And like, not as frightening as your internet photograph. And then, you know, back then, I don't know if you remember, but there was like the images.
Was he in like the Helsing stance, like the typical? Okay,
he's in this Helsing stance, but also there's like images of like Relson with like neon belly, and he's like fist in the air, and like Robin's like, like it was like, man, this looks brutal. And but I ended up showing up there, and you know, there was people that I still train today. BJ Nelson was there. He's like one of my instructors, and you know, became a big influence in my jiu-jitsu, and someone of a mentor in my life. And he's sitting there, a blue belt at the time, and of course just murdered me. I remember thinking like, this dude knows jiu-jitsu. And then I rolled a couple other people, but I remember peers like the white belts. That was real interesting because no one had stuck their hand in my collar. No one had done anything like that at the other places.
Oh, really?
It was, you know, it was taught by maybe
more wrestling back then.
Competition-esque, and but also like, you know, more arm locks and some chokes and things. But nobody was going like deep into the collar, full guard, like breaking my posture and like strangling me. It was like, I remember Tovar, you know, that dude. You know, Salah, Salim, Abed, all these guys were white belts at the time, and they were just murdering me more than any of my peers did at the CCAD thing. And so with my experience that night was, you know, wow. And you know, there's all these like other like these purple belts. They're like these weird dudes that are not even speaking to people or me, and you know, they're having their own little thing. And then there's brown belts, and there's like a black belt. I'm like, whoa, who's that? That's a wizard, you know. I didn't get to. My first roll with a black belt, I think, was Vince Pisano. Which he doesn't train anymore, but you know, he's on the wall in our academy. I remember just being, I felt like a dummy. You know, I was like trying to roll with him, and he didn't like destroy me or anything. He just had this like, he was just super defensive, and like I was kind of moving and just kind of confused, like, what am I doing? And it's like, and then
Gosh,
you know,
I
then
hate
when he
those
wanted
ones.
to, yeah, and then when he just started moving, and there was like nothing I could do about it. And then all of a sudden, I was like submitted. I'm like, oh, that's just crazy. And that happened later on in my jiu-jitsu and white belt. But you know, it's just a whole different experience than what I had encountered at CCAD. And so I was like, man, I already had a pretty big interest in it. So I just decided I was going to stay at Relson and continue trying to train there. I signed up, you know, being a broke 20-year-old kid. I think it was like $100 and something bucks, and I was like, here we go. I'm going to sign up for this. And then that's when I started training probably a couple times a week. I trained usually the first couple years of my jiu-jitsu was mostly with Jeff Hudson, training on Tuesday afternoons, which crazy enough is class I teach now, which I don't know if anyone knows how crazy I feel about that. Because when Robin asked me if I wanted to teach that day, I was like, that's the Hudson hour. That's an honor. I don't know if I could fill those shoes.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
So it's pretty cool to get that opportunity and start teaching. But that was like the first classes I was taking. I went on a nighttime for the first time, but then my schedule during the work I was doing at the time allowed me to train on Tuesdays and Fridays afternoons. So I was only training a couple days a week for like the first year of my jiu-jitsu.
So that was mostly your white to blue?
I would say white to two-stripe. Because that once I got around two-stripe or three-stripe white belt, I started really understanding it and like earning those stripes under Robin and Jeff was, you know, it meant something. You know, you knew it was like they were monitoring your progress pretty closely, and you know, so those stripes mattered. You know, I got three stripe on my belt. I was like, I was submitting people and like seeing, oh, hey, this is coming together in some way. You know, I'm understanding this. I'm not losing, not tapping as much. Being able to kind of frustrate some of my peers that were smashing before, and of course, like. Building that up to blue belt, and then
was it the stamp system back then?
No,
or was it just you got a stripe when you got a stripe?
I think definitely not the stamp. A little bit of the latter. I think it was like more observation and thing. But we had these cards, which I don't know why Robin doesn't do this now. I mean, I do, but I don't. Like, it's like we had all had these cards, and he would take our photograph. It was a hard identification card, had our name on it and everything.
Really?
And a little scan gun. And when you walked in, back then it was walking in to the old academy. So you'd walk in, there was chairs but no desk, and you had to walk all the way back down the mat. So you take your shoes off and then walk all the way across the mat. And Robin's desk was in the back.
Oh, okay.
So that before the locker room, then you'd go into this area, and then your cards would be in this little tiny office, and you'd grab your card out of the thing and
we'll have a little photo of
beep.
you.
Yeah, beep. I still want it. Like I told
That's
Robin,
actually kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because I told Rob, I remember what it looks like. I was wearing a red T-shirt, my arms were crossed, and I thought I was like super savage. It was a white belt, so I'd love to see that picture.
Good way to keep track of how many times you're coming in, and
yeah, I think it was a little bit easier, but it was kind of on the responsibility of the student as well. And some people, I was notorious for forgetting, especially you get
That's true.
ladder end of each belt. You know, you get you get the stripes, and you're waiting for your next belt. It's kind of like almost like I was like, oh,
I don't need to do the clock in.
I don't clock in anymore. Which is a bad habit. I don't suggest that to anybody, but like it happens.
It definitely happens. So, what about your journey from blue to purple? Anything significant about that? Like,
well, blue belt was an exciting time. I was super gunning for the blue belt hard. The latter end of my white belt, I was like, I was really going ham, man. I was trying to train as much as I can, like, and I had this funny because of how humbling jiu-jitsu is in many different aspects. One of the things that taught me was patience and also understanding in the process. Like, a lot of times, and this is common, I think, for a lot of people, is they think that they're like at that level. They're like, well, clearly I'm a blue belt. I'm a 4-stripe white belt. I've been doing this for this long. I'm submitting these guys, but it has nothing to do with that. Yeah. It has everything to do with you as an individual. And there's a lot of things that account depending on who's giving the belt to you. So I was like, maybe when I had some blue belt skill, but I wasn't like a blue belt yet. So when I got it, it was like I knew it,
Yeah.
And so I felt really good about getting the blue belt. And
when you got it, did it feel like, okay, I finally have earned it?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, it did. It's a strange story. I wish Robin was here to talk about this story with me. I mean,
I'll save it for the interview with him.
Yeah, ask him about the latter end of my white belt and stripe givings. And
sounds like a good one.
It's a good story. But when I got it, not to ruin any of that story, but when I got it, it was kind of like I knew it was coming, but it was giving me random. I think he just got everyone's attention, and was like, Mike's a blue belt now. And I didn't even have a blue belt to give me. He just said, Mike's a blue belt.
He just said it.
To the whole room, and the room was like, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I remember being like, he's like, I don't have a belt for you, but I'll get one for you. And I was
Wow.
like, okay.
That's awesome.
And I had to, there was a band I really loved named Chamberlain, and I hadn't seen them ever play live. They weren't even a band for the years I was listening to them, and then they were playing a show at night. And so I got my blue belt, and then I got to go see like one of my favorite bands that never...
Good night.
Yeah, it was awesome. Man, I was like on cloud nine. I had pictures of me from that concert.
Yeah,
I'm
for
like,
real.
Yes. Yes. So I think that's when really things started for me as far as jiu-jitsu is concerned. I knew I wanted to do it. You know, you get your blue belt. It's a significant thing to receive, as you know.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of work, man. Like a lot of dedication goes into it. It's like hard to do, you know. And then I just, you know, I was lucky enough to be training with certain people that kind of took me under their wings, you know, and hardened me a bit, and you know, showed me, you know, effectiveness and things like that. And I was able to build my jiu-jitsu library as a blue belt with a lot of strength involved from the support of others. And I felt pretty good, man. Throughout my blue belt, I competed a bit, but I didn't really do very well in competition. But I was doing well on the mat, and then, you know, by the time I was, you know, I think I was a 4-stripe blue belt when there was a change up in the sister academy in New Albany, Team Edge. Whoever was teaching it had a school.
That was a sister school.
Yeah.
Relson?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Relson Gracie New Albany basically is what it was like. Gracie New Albany is what it was called, but Team Edge Fitness is where it took place. Aaron Fry owns Team Edge, and he's a super good dude, and was a blue belt at the time. And so when I think it was Danny Goss or Mike Northern, I can't remember who was teaching it, but their schedules changed and they needed someone else to teach it, and they offered it to me, which was like, I don't know. I was like, "Are you sure?" Like, I want me to teach
kind of looking around.
Yeah. And so I accepted it because I really thought that was a cool idea of like teaching. I was like, oh, that's definitely cool. And so I started teaching latter end of my blue belt at Team Edge, and kind of felt like I was like, man, I like this. I'm pretty felt natural to me, and which is odd. The teaching
aspect,
yeah, which is odd because I didn't really consider myself very intelligent my whole life, because I think the educational system just didn't like it, and so I gravitated towards things.
It sounds like you're not good at taking tests.
Yeah,
that's the education system.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, just I wasn't convinced of
doing homework.
Yeah, like if you were to tell me like, oh, you'll have the mental capacity to not only learn jiu-jitsu but teach it to others. Like, if you would have told me at 18, I'd have been like, well, you're crazy. But yeah, through teaching, I learned a lot more about my own jiu-jitsu, and so I was able to get to purple belt, and I felt really good about it. I mean, there was I remember kind of knowing it was going to take place. No one told me nothing, but it's like kind of I had a couple of my peers. I got my purple belt with a bed, who's like one of my favorite people in the world. I don't get to see him often anymore. He's just running things, man. That guy is just awesome. He got so many hats, it's insane.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, he's got a beautiful family now, and so he gets on the mat when he can.
Yeah.
But man, I'll tell you, back then, I love that dude. I mean, I still do, but we were jiu-jitsu buddies for sure. He was a hard roll. He was smaller than me. Always beat me up. So, but we got our purple belts together. It was super special. I remember feeling really good about that. And and I knew from conversations I had with people that the purple belt meant effectiveness, which to get that that confidence from that solidification of oh, hey, you're effective now was really cool. I was like, I wouldn't have got this. It wasn't that good, And so then I felt even more confident as a teacher because I was wearing a purple belt, and it wasn't it's funny because I was.
So you've been teaching since 4-stripe blue.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It shows.
Oh,
for sure,
shoot, man! Thanks.
Yeah. All right. So anything significant then from purple to somehow that it triggered Alexa
because I should have listened to this the whole time.
The government's in on it. Anything significant from purple to brown? Where you're at today, basically.
Yeah, man. Yeah, purple to brown was. Yeah, purple to brown is crazy, man. I think I was going through a lot of growth in my own life as a man, So I think I was 25, 26 years old when I received my purple or my brown belt. No, we're talking about purple belt. Sorry.
Yeah, purple.
So
Well, that's
yeah,
part of the
that's
story.
part of it.
Yeah.
No, I was older when I received my brown belt, but
Yeah.
but purple belt. I mean, yeah, man. I'd gone through some things in life with like some loss and things like that,
Yeah.
where jiu-jitsu had helped me a bit, well, a lot of it, to get through those things. And I feel like at that belt was like all these changes were occurring in my life, and I was growing into like more of an adult, which is kind of funny. Cause
How old were you?
About 25, 26 years old.
Yeah, that is pretty big. Moment.
Yeah, it was like mid-20s, man. Like I'm figuring all this out. You know, so that was really interesting to be a purple belt and then build myself as a purple belt, and that was hard, man. I think that it's like people underestimate like how jiu-jitsu is. It just gets harder.
Yeah.
Right. So like you think it's hard now, well, it's gonna be super duper hard later, and it's gonna continue to be super duper hard, and it won't. You know, if you take a lax path and you don't really push yourself, I mean, it won't be that hard. But if you want to become effective, right? If you're a purple belt and you want to become like effective purple belt and get your brown belt, like you're going to have to learn, and you're going to put everything you learned and everything you're teaching and all these things, put it all together in real time and make it effective towards a brown and black belt. That's like okay, yeah, so you can stomp all the white belts in the room or all the blue belts. Cool beans, man. But can you control a brown belt or a black belt and submit them? That's money. Like that's what you want your jiu-jitsu to be.
Yeah, definitely.
And so you start to realize that at purple belt. Like midway through purple belt, I started to realize like, okay, yeah, like I need to start competing more. I need to start really molding this and become an individual in this whole jiu-jitsu thing. Because I was teaching, my teaching responsibilities seemed to be growing. We had a couple of different ideas. Moving Team Edge to the main academy was one of them, and we did that. And so I feel like, you know, I was like, all right, I feel pretty good about this whole purple belt journey. And then I started to look at my brown belt, and then people got their brown belts, like my best friends, you know, like Tyler and Travis and Brandon Cho are all really great training partners. Travis is like my best friend ever. And, you know, his family's like a second family to me. And him getting his brown belt was like, oh man, like these are my training partners. Like, you know, there's like, I'm going to get it. Like, you know, I'm just around the corner. Like, and it really motivated me to really look at myself under a microscope, because in some sense, I almost felt like it was going, like I was like so confident that it was going to happen, and it didn't in the time I thought it would. And so I had to like swallow that real quick. Like, you know, like, hey man, that's ego in your head. Like, you know,
definitely
figure out what do you need to do to become a brown belt. And so I asked people. You know, like,
that's awesome.
Like, I feel like a white belt, blue belt, you kind of don't ask. You don't want to fucking ask anybody questions, especially about your
That's weird.
your promotions or stripes or what do I need to do to do this, do that. And I think those are relevant questions, and now you know, those are a little bit more accepted than they were 10 years ago. But you know, I just asked like BJ, and I asked Travis, like, what do I need to do? Like, you know me, like, what do I need to do to make sure that I will become a brown belt level of jiu-jitsu? And you know, some things were thrown at me. A lot of it, my guard had been super duper strong my whole jiu-jitsu because I focused on that, and my top game really wasn't all that great. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't that great. It definitely wasn't where my guard game was. Yeah. So, you know, and that was one of the things somebody mentioned to me, was like, you know, you need to, you know, become like more well-rounded, you know, play top. You need to start, your passing needs work. You do this and this. So there was technical things I need to address, and then also just, I felt like a little bit more perseverance and dedication on my part. So I just kind of cranked it up. And, you know, once I cranked it up, like, it was going down. Like, I knew it. Like, I felt the momentum as I cranked it up. I was like, okay, yeah, this is...
Like, cranked it up as in just going.
Like, training more, training smarter. You know, drilling more, rolling more, having more constructive rolls, having goals on the mat each day. There were certain things that I didn't take into consideration as I was going through my jiu-jitsu journey to really, how do I grow into a more effective jiu-jitsu practitioner against those higher level people? Like, there's a lot more than just going into the mats and training, taking a class and drilling with your friends. Like, there's a whole mental side of it. There's a whole physical side of it. So I implemented all kinds of stuff, from meditation to breathing techniques to competing more was a big thing too. I told myself I want to compete more, because that's one thing even to this day I hate. Like, I hate competition, like, a lot. I like to do it, but I also hate it. So, so I just kind of I just kind of did all that, and you know, when I put the work in and I took my ego out of it, boom, brown belt around my waist. I was like, oh, okay, all right, and that kind of clued me in on what this is all about. It's a lot more than
so that actually brings us into the next question about competition training.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on competition jiu-jitsu versus defense jiu-jitsu? And what do you think is the main philosophy behind the art of jiu-jitsu?
So I think they're both applicable to each other. I think that there's a big difference between someone who understands self-defense jiu-jitsu and competition jiu-jitsu than someone who just understands competition jiu-jitsu. Like if you're starting martial arts at a place that doesn't focus on self-defense, then you're going to play a game. Fortunately, for the self-defense aspect of it, that game just happens to be really effective against most people. But a fight is a fight, and a violent interaction is a whole different story. So when you have a competition-based game that has no shading of self-defense in it, now you're playing a game, you're playing a sport. And it can be used as self-defense, but I think it'll give you I don't want to say a false sense of security, but like you'd be very surprised if you got somebody that's never been hit in the face while they're trying to play jiu-jitsu, how they react to those things. And you know, our school, we do it all the time. So you know, you got Dave Tabern on Monday nights, like, yeah, he'll imitate like eye rakes and like eyes and like just cover your eye with his hand and bites and, you know, all these crazy things that could happen. But also like just getting smacked in the face, you know, or punched with the gloves while you're trying to work your guard, and you know, especially somebody going ham. And then, you know, so I think it lends itself, competition lends itself to the ability to utilize jiu-jitsu in a violent altercation. But I think that most people would probably be pretty surprised about how that would go without training strikes involved. So I think that with self-defense, the person who's learning self-defense is probably going to have a way better understanding of the fundamentals and a way better understanding of leverage and technique and how to make these things work against a really strong opponent that might, you know, not playing jiu-jitsu is a big thing. Because to be honest with you, my opinion is when someone starts learning jiu-jitsu, especially like if you think about a big guy that comes in that has some wrestling experience or something, like when they get there, like the first week they're there, like they're hard to roll with. You get a little jiu-jitsu into their you get a little jiu-jitsu into their brain. Fast forward 3 months, it's easier. Because now they're playing jiu-jitsu. It's so much easier to beat them. You know, it's like, oh, finally this person's trying to play jiu-jitsu rather than just trying to maul me and wrestle. Now I can really catch him, you know?
It's so
true. It's so funny and it's hilarious. But that's the big thing is like, you know, you have these the self-defense aspect that it's really important to understand. First of all, like what jiu-jitsu is, and anyways, you know, you got the second half of that question was philosophy, but like, you know, it's a self-defense martial art. Like it was developed for that. So, you know, to throw that part away and then move forward and just become world champion is kind of silly in my mind. You should be, especially if you have any future in teaching it, you want to be able to teach martial or self-defense. You know, it's a huge. It's a, you know, if you're looking to make money in a business, you know, and you're just teaching, you know, one avenue of jiu-jitsu, well, you know, you might have a harder time, you know, creating a business that's going to thrive, and also opening the door to people that maybe just want to learn a little self-defense. You know, they're like get a little bit more awareness of physical altercation than they've ever been in. So not only would it help you, you know, with your foundation, but I also think that competition jiu-jitsu and self-defense jiu-jitsu go hand in hand. You learn competition jiu-jitsu, like you're going to be better at self-defense jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? Like you're going to understand it more, like in the chaos environment, more reactionary, right? And then if you were good at self-defense, you're going to be really good at applying the foundation and the techniques that you learned in your self-defense to all these crazy techniques that we see today in the competition style. So I think they go hand in hand, and I think that if you are going to train jiu-jitsu, you should 100% train both. Like the self-defense aspect of it should always be present as you prepare to compete at whatever belt you're at, because they're going to go hand in hand. They're both going to help you. So It'd be foolish to go one route.
I like that answer. That's great. Well, so have you ever had to use jiu-jitsu to defend yourself?
I don't. You know,
Self-defense.
I was thinking about this. Oddly enough, I don't think I've ever had to use it in the scenario that you would think, right?
Like
so
an attacker is coming in.
someone's attacked me in the alley.
Yeah.
Or I scratched someone's Camaro and like they're mad.
Yeah.
They want to fight me. They're coming at me. Like these things have never really occurred. Maybe that's because I'm trying to be a nice guy and situational awareness and things like that go hand in hand
definitely.
with jiu-jitsu and learning it. But most of I think when I was younger, I was way more apt to like show that jiu-jitsu works. So I luckily never got in any crazy violent altercation, but I did have to utilize it against friends, drunk friends, especially.
Yep.
Like I have one friend, I won't mention his name, but like, man, I'll tell you, like this dude's tried to punch me in the face, like for reals, a couple times, and both times did not end up well for him.
Yeah.
One of them didn't end up well for me, but that was only because the first interaction went so bad for him that like, it's like a suplex to the floor, like in the middle of the house party.
No.
It was like my room.
Suplex.
Yeah, like souped him,
Damn.
dude. He punched me in the face. I told him not to punch me. But it wasn't violent. It was like my buddy. I've known him since we were 10.
Yeah.
So he's just being a dickhead and drunk and, and he wants to fight me and I'm trying to tell him not, and all of a sudden like he's, calling me names and, and I wasn't even mad. And I don't think he was all that mad, but the interaction goes just wild. Stupid dudes and and their young 20s just being whatever. And
definitely.
So I was able to use it effectively against, like a friend of mine or something like that. And then I had interactions, oddly enough, man, I think that the most my jiu-jitsu's ever been put to test was when I had to like not use violence, like in situations where I was like, because it was funny because
I see what you're saying.
because I like earlier in my jiu-jitsu I'd think of it very like maybe one track, like okay, I have this skill and if it comes down to it I can use it right in a self-defense. So I would maybe like in a situation where there was like a chance to be antagonistic, like I would take that chance. But we're almost with a pompous attitude, like, well, if this goes sour, at least I got this jiu-jitsu stuff I've been training really hard with, like for a long time, because this is blue belt, purple belt kind of thoughts.
Yeah. And
so I ended up like, putting myself in situations that could have led to violence, which luckily they didn't.
Definitely.
And then man, to be honest with you, man, just in the last year, I've had more situations happen to me where I could have used jiu-jitsu, and I didn't because of what I've learned through jiu-jitsu, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and funny though, it's like, it took a lot of trial and error to get there, because I think everyone trains jiu-jitsu for various reasons, maybe reasons they don't even know. And I know for a fact that I have a couple things, that as a character, like, think about like anxiety, right? Like, jiu-jitsu's helped me with anxiety. Anger is one of the things. Like, anger is crazy. Like, anger, I'm such an angry person in some sense, but also I'm way more calm than I ever have, and I never had gotten angry with a man. You know what I mean? Like a man like was trying to get angry with me, and I'm like, maybe I had like a relationship issue where I got so angry or something like that, but like never like an interaction where like somebody's screaming at me and I'm like screaming at them. Yeah. And I'm like ready for it to become violence. And that was probably the scariest thing. I remember there was, I'll share a story with you. I was at our bartend, so unfortunately, on most of my jiu-jitsu, I've been utilizing jiu-jitsu to control people.
Right against the drunks.
Most drunk people, control them, steer them out of the bar.
That's good, though.
Yeah. Somebody that knows what they're doing, puts their hands on you, you can feel it.
Oh, so, yeah, definitely.
I can see it in people's eyes. If I grab a hold of them and like to get them out, they're like, oh, shit. Like, this is different. Like, they comply quickly.
They're not just like, you're not pushing them in an awkward way or something.
Right. There's just... It's control and like, hey man, like this, you're out of here. Let's go. Kind of situation, like a bouncing situation, right? I had a situation where someone had been drinking with their girlfriend or something. They came in, they had a couple drinks each, and I was playing pool. It was super slow, and I looked over. They're making out, hanging out, and their drinks are getting lower, but they're still about half full. And like next time I look over, man, they're out in their parking lot. They're getting in the car, and I'm like, what the hell? So I run out. And I'm like, the guy's almost to the car, and I'm like, hey, like, you know, you got a tab, you want to
Yeah, I
close?
was gonna say, they didn't pay their tab, they just
No, they just
bouncing.
left, and the guy was like real shitty, and he came in, and I'd served this guy a couple times before, and he came inside, and like, he just was super shitty with me, and like had this horrible attitude, and I got it, like, I could see, like, you know, he's just sighing, like, waiting for me. I come around the bar, and I'm like, hey, man. And he looks at me, he's like, oh, you decided to be a fucking bartender? And I'm like, oh. Like, you know, and I kind of just was like, oh, well, yeah, sorry, man. Like, you know, he goes, oh, we waited this long, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, you know, okay. Like, I don't think you did, but, you know, I was watching you guys, and you guys were having your own time, you know, it's cool, man. Like, you owe me $10.50. And he started pulling, and I said it in not the nicest way. So, because I felt like, you know, and I had this issue with disrespect, so I was angry, you know, at this already. And so then he, like, almost pulls his card out, and he puts it back. He's like, never fucking mind. Have a good night. And he, like, turned around. And I'm like, hey, dude, what you doing? And I started getting, you know, like, and then he's, like, flicked me off, and he went outside. And I was like,
shit.
I was like, no one shall disrespect me. And so I went out after this dude for $10.50. I went out in the parking lot. And I didn't go out there to beat him up. I just went out there to be like, hey, dude, you got a tab. Like, that's stealing. Like, come back, right? And so I'm saying these things like, hey, man, if you want to steal, like, I'll call the cops. He's like, call the fucking cops. He, like, gets in his car. And he's parked pretty close to the front door, so I, like, take my phone out. I'm like, I'm just going to take pictures of your license plate, dude, and just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I started to take a picture of his license plate. This dude backed up, like, into my legs. And I had to move out of the way. And I was like, oh, like, move out of the way. Like, damn, like, you just try to hit me with your car. And then, like, I'm in front. As he pulls forward, I'm in front of his car. And I'm, like, in this disbelief state. Like, I can't believe this dude's even trying this. Like, all this ego in my brain and this anger. And it's like, oh, I can't deal with this disrespect. And I found myself, like, yelling, like what's wrong? You know, whatever I was saying. I was seeing red, dude. And then all of a sudden, something came over me, and I was like, you're in the front of a car. You're in front of this dude's car. He's hammered. What are you doing? And I, like, moved out of the way, like, get a hold of yourself, man. And then this dude, like, you know, screams something at me, and then I see red again. I was like, yeah. And then he drives off, right? And I was, like, super angry, over $10.50, you know, over the disrespect. What disrespect? Who knows? This guy's just drunk. And I didn't realize how much it was going to affect me, but I was trying to sleep that night, and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. And I was like, what is going on? Because I put myself in this situation where, like, if he wanted violence, he would have got it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. If he wouldn't have gotten in his car and turned around and it was, like, clear to me that I was looking to justify this, you know, this whole thing. He disrespected me. It's justified for me to go out there and reprimand him. I don't know what that might be. Call the cops on him. Tell him he's an asshole, or what? Beat him up. I don't know. And then I started thinking all these scenarios. Like, oh man, like I could have got killed. So he could have ran me over as I was standing in front of his car. He could have injured me severely, ended my jiu-jitsu career. Right? He could have just ran me over and jacked my body up so bad that I couldn't train anymore. Or I could have pulled him out of the car. Right? I could have pulled him out of the car. I could have something could have happened where he stopped, got out of the car. I could have, and then who knows what would have happened. I could have got severely injured in the fight. Maybe this dude, you know, had a knife, had a gun. You know, he's in his car now. Know, you know what's in his car? Who knows? I got a bunch of weapons in my car. So, and they're not, well, I mean, just like carry tools, and there's just some, you know, might be some things in there, like a big hammer, a mallet. I mean, I got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's
truck,
true.
You know? Like,
I mean,
I don't carry swords or anything in there, but you know, maybe that's a good idea. But all this happened, and like, so I'm sitting here like riddled with these scenarios that could have happened. Like, man, I really screwed up there. Like, I let my ego get in the way. I became obsessed with the disrespect that I was receiving. I wanted justice from it. All these things, and then I put myself in this super weird situation. I could have got hit by a car. Could have gotten a fight. And then the worst case scenario, outside of being killed and injured in a fight or hit by a car, I could have beat this dude up. And then I think about like the legalities of it. And if you think about like a witness sees me come out of the bar, yell at this dude, pull him out of the car, beat the hell out of him. I'm going to jail now.
That's true.
I'm facing assault charges. So it freaked me out like a lot. Like it freaked me out so much that I talked to certain people about it. And then I had this epiphany like in my head, like, man, I really need to check myself. Even now. Yeah. Like I thought I was in, 10 years of jiu-jitsu. Oh man, I'm calm. cool as a cucumber. Like, totally not the case, man. I'm a human being. Emotion is emotion, and I let it take. I did not recognize the emotion coming up, and I wrote it. You know, the horse went that way, and I was like, I guess I'm on the horse. Like, woo! And it scared me, man, and it freaked me out so much that then I started thinking about, okay, how do I make sure this never happens again? Yeah. And then my focus started being way more on the self-defense side of jiu-jitsu, which I think has more to do with the understanding of a violent interaction. Behavioral management is huge, and then implementing your ability to manage the emotions that come in and not act on the craziness, you know, because we all have it. And so that like really spooked me and led me to a lot of insight where I just had to really like self-reflect and meditate on a lot of things and talk to certain people that I knew were smarter than me. And, I always do that. I just find people who are smarter than me and hang out with them. And
not the worst advice to do.
All these smart people in my life, they just have no idea I'm using them for their intelligence and advice. No, but on the real, like I really felt weird about it. And then I was like able to I had another interaction where even after that I had another interaction where it got where I got heated. It was not a crazy bar situation, but it was with someone I knew. A guy that I lived basically next to. Is like this, like maybe 5 years of build up happened into this moment of time. It was like a perfect combination for me to not be too thrilled about this. And he was being antagonistic, and so I just let loose, man. I was super angry. I ended up yelling some pretty vile things at this guy, and even though like he was no innocent in this, and it didn't grow to violence, but man, I was heated, you know, and I finally got out of the situation. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that guy. And then again, boom, I'm like sat here riddled, trying to sleep that night. Man, you really handled that poorly. Like, you know, I'm thinking all the things I could have done to not let that happen, to not be so angry, you know, because no human being deserves anything like that. And also, like, if he was game, just like that one guy, it could have easily blossomed into violence, which, whew, man, I'll tell you right now, I am scared to death of it. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't like it. And I do not like myself angry. I've been angry many times in life, and, like, I really don't like it. I don't like that emotion when it comes. And so those things kind of taught me to, like, recognize the emotion when it sets in, and then not to sit with it, like, let it pass, or understand that it's there and not act on it. And
like actually recognize, wait a second, why am I so angry right now?
Yes, exactly. And then take a breath and be like, this does not involve me, you know, getting angrier or giving in to this. Whatever this interaction is, like, I need to walk away from this. So, not to tell you all these stories, but now
that's what you're here for.
Then I get to this point, you know, months and months later after these interactions, I feel really good about that, about my ability to remain calm. I had a couple different interactions with human beings since then. Mostly at the bar, because bartending just throws you in these weird spots. So I had one interaction with two guys that, you know, got super shitty with me, man. Like, it was kind of crazy, actually, and I'm not going to go depth in that story because they don't even deserve to be talked about. But, like, those dudes suck, man. They're just a waste of life at the bar, hammered, drunk, seen 1,000 times, and, like, the way that they disrespected me that night was tenfold worse than the other two stories I'd share with you. So, like, and I was cool as a cucumber, man. I recognized how I felt, even though inside I was like, oh! I still was like, oh! And I was able to talk to them and kick them out of the bar without even moving, taking a step. I got them out of the bar.
That's awesome.
And I felt really good about that. And it was like a good night's sleep that night. You know, I was like, I handled that really well. Good job, Mike. You're really coming along. And then, you know, fast forward to another time where, you know, just about 2 months ago, man, I had, you know, basically an interaction in a bar, but I wasn't at bartending. I just stopped there with my girlfriend at that time to hang out at this bar. So me and her, you know, we just go at that time to bar to have a drink, and this guy's buying us shots and trying to be friendly, and, you know, that's cool or whatever, but then he keeps trying and he's interrupting our conversations, and then he's getting a little bit touchy-feely and, like, kind of like, hey, why don't you listen to me? And then she kind of said something to him like, hey, dude, get out of here. And, you know, this dude just couldn't accept it, man. And my antenna was up the whole time. This guy even came around, like, before he even spoke to us. I'm like,
You already had it on him.
And this guy, and I'm a weirdo. Like, you know, I'm in the restaurant, man. I'm always looking around and stuff.
No, I totally get that.
Like, my girlfriend would be like, "What are you looking at?" I'm like, "Everything."
All these people. You're not paying attention?
Everything. So I knew this dude. I didn't like his vibe or whatever. And then he gets to a point where, you know, where she pretty much tells him like, "Hey, look, dude, I'm hanging out with my boyfriend. I'm not trying to talk to you right now. Like, thanks for the shots, but I'm good." And this dude called, like, he said something, "You little bitch." And I was like, man.
No.
It was like, in my head, I'm like, damn it. Like, now I gotta stand up. I gotta fucking stand up now.
Yeah, why'd you have to do that?
Yeah, man. And also, I wasn't reactionary in a way where I was like, "Ah, man, no, he didn't. I'm gonna whoop his ass."
Yeah.
It was like I have to not only quell the situation without letting it escalate.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, all right. So I stood up, and I got basically in front of my girlfriend and then right in front of this guy. And I had my all the things that we talk about in self-defense, having your hands up and talking with your hands. And, you know, I'm doing these kind of things just naturally, just like talking, "Hey, man, listen, like what you just said, there's no need for that. Like, why don't you just go here? There's a big bar. Go over there, hang out, man. Like, you know, thanks for the shots." And this dude didn't want to have any part of it, man. I think he kind of like tried to slap my hands down, and I was like, "Dude, what's up?" And then he said something to the I can't remember what he said. Something about like, you know, like we're ungrateful, like he's just trying to have a good time and all this shit, and like, and I kind of got like real, not angry, but like real with him. Like, "Look, dude, like we don't want to speak to you. Like get the fuck out away from me. All right." And then he's like, "Fuck you," and like he pushed me in the neck. Like I remember his hands like touched my neck, and I still was able to chill. Like I was super like wild out about this. Like like he pushed me, and I pushed his arms to the side, and then I was like real with him, like real, like, "Hey man, now you're crossing lines. Like you need to chill the fuck out." And at that time, the cook is some big guy from the back. You know, his average Joe's in Polaris. So this guy comes out from the back and gets in between us. And it's funny because he's like, you know, he didn't know what's going on, so he's addressing both of us. Yeah. He's in between us and addressing both of us. And I like looked at this dude, and I'm like, there is no way this is going to turn into violence, man. But this guy's being antagonistic and get out of here. He needs to get out of here, dude. It's bothering us. Like I didn't do anything. I'm trying to quell the situation. He looked at me like, "What the fuck?
Who is this guy?"
He's like, "All right," and he went right to the dude because that dude was being irate. Yeah. He was being irate and yelling and shit.
When you're that calm in a situation.
Yeah, and they went right to him. They kicked him out.
Wow.
And it was like, and I didn't like any of it, dude. I was ready to go home. I did not want to be out anymore. I felt a certain type of way of how it escalated. Like I'm not in a good headspace there, so I just was like, "Man, we gotta get out of here." But man, I'll tell you, like I was really surprised to like find myself like growing from the moments where I was running with anger and putting myself in some pretty questionable spots that could result in me utilizing jiu-jitsu in self-defense or not self-defense or ass whooping offense.
Yeah, ass whooping offense.
It's like a fine line, dude. And so
and this is all like brown belt.
This is all brown
still
belt.
Learning.
This is all the last
still
year.
Improving.
Oh, 100%.
Just as a person. Like, that's what I love about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it just never stops, dude. Yeah. And that's one of the things I was like, man, even reading the questions he had sent me, like this one, you know, I was thinking about, man, I was like, you know, I think the biggest jiu-jitsu, like the biggest example of me using jiu-jitsu is like that last story where I was like, you know, somebody put hands on me, like all the above. Like I had all the, you know, I could arm drag that dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, but I didn't, and it was good, and I felt so good about that.
Yeah.
And then I became even more obsessed with, you know, with this whole like behavioral management and understanding emotion and understanding myself in the throes of chaos. You know, it's wild because, you know, I don't want to have to use my jiu-jitsu, man. Yeah. I really don't. The older I grow and the more mature I become in jiu-jitsu, the less I want to even showcase it in any way. I mean, I was a white belt, drunk wrestling anybody. Like anybody. A 4-stripe white belt, you're on, son.
Let me show you something.
I'll fight you in gravel. I've done it, man. I woke up on Saturday morning like with holes in my knees and like dirt and grass. I'm like, what happened? I'm like, oh, jiu-jitsu in the gravel, jiu-jitsu in the parking lot.
For sure.
So now, you know, there's no chance, man. You'd have to pay me a lot of money to drunk wrestle you now.
Yeah.
And then of course, you know, I got to this point now where I feel, even though none of those interactions ever went to violence, they were so close to it, like to real violence, to where it was like no, like somebody spilled my drink and there's a fight.
Yeah,
it was like, no, man, this is an emotional build up to like screaming and yelling, and like we are moments away from physically interacting with each other, and that was probably one of the scariest things. And it's funny because at the moment, like, you're either running with anger, so you don't think about nothing, or in the calm moments, you're very, very cognitive of what's going on, and it's like, man, this is actually way better than being angry. And then it ends up being a situation you're able to quell, and that's way more rewarding than anything, man. I feel great about that, and I hope that I can continue to do it. It's something that I think I'll have to continue working on forever. But because emotions are crazy, man.
Yeah.
You get the right day, right time. I mean, that's like one of those stories where it was a horrible day for me to interact with this guy. Like, I don't think that it wouldn't have happened, the time where I was like the neighbor guy. It was like, man, it was the perfect storm for me. Like, he hit me at the right spot.
Yeah.
He started running his mouth and being antagonistic. Even when I told him to back off, I'm like, hey, dude, you can go in your house and leave me alone. I was getting things out of my old house, and that was kind of what was happening. But it was like, he just wouldn't do it, man. And like, I was just kind of getting angrier and angrier, and then I had all these other things going on personally. And man, one thing was said, and I was like, you know what? And it's on. But even then, like, I don't think that would have ever went to violence, but I was ready for it. I was like, man, I felt myself. I gotta get in my truck and leaving. I'm like, I gotta leave this. This is getting crazy. And it wasn't. We were 15 feet away from each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that freaked me out more than any bar scuffle I've been in, or some random occurrence with a human being in the streets. Like, it's different. So I'm try to continue understanding my own emotions and reactions, and try to better myself that way every day, because I definitely don't want to be on the receiving end of an ass whooping or on the giving end of it, because none of it's good.
That's a good point. So that's your brown belt story. What's your advice for a white belt just starting out?
Keep coming, man. You got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
So, and that's, it's a great thing. I think that I give them kudos for starting. I mean, stepping on the mat's hard to do for the first time, especially if you have no idea. Say you're just Zach Moore, and you're like, I think I might try Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then you show up to this everybody's in pajamas. And you're like, what the fuck? And it's like you're wearing your gym shorts and on the mat, and you're like, well, maybe I have to get one of these gis, I think. And, it's just so weird.
It's super nerve-wracking the first time for me.
Yeah, of course. And then you kind of get there, and you're like, luckily we, our academy, I think that Robin's done such a wonderful job of opening the doors to everyone. And so, like, that's one of my main goals as an instructor, is to make it welcome to everybody. I want everybody to have fun. Even, your first day, man, I want you to have the best first day ever, so you can come back, and
catch that bug.
Yeah, so my advice to a white belt would be to just keep coming back, man, because just like anything else, you're learning something. I always make an analogy to music. Learning an instrument is super difficult. To become proficient at it, it's another level, right? So, I've been playing guitar for a really long time, but man, there's guys I know that are so much better than me at guitar. Like friends, my roommates, like sometimes I play music with them and I just feel retarded. Like, you're playing that, I got nothing. I'm gonna just give me 10 minutes. You keep playing that over and over again, and I'll find something.
I'll just do rhythm.
And so that it's a good analogy, because when you first pick up a guitar, you've never played an instrument. You suck at it. It's terrible, and like until you learn some chords and some basics and maybe a song, and you implement it, and then you start imitating other people, and you get a foundation, and then it becomes a little bit easier to branch off from that. So you have to get through that first stint of being a white belt, and it's hard to do, but the best advice is like, it could take you 2 months to get really acclimated with the positions and understand everything, or it could take you a year. It depends on your consistency and who you're training with and how much time you spend there. If you go to one fundamental class and leave after that hour, your progression is not going to be as fast as someone who's spending the evening there. So,
definitely.
It's just, I think that the biggest advice would be, hey man, just, you gotta keep coming. Just make it a priority to show up.
I like it. I still remember, I didn't even get my first stripe until 6 months in.
Boom! See?
6 months in.
Man, these are throwing you on the burner.
No, it wasn't him, it was me.
I'm not saying it was him.
I went maybe like once or twice a week, but only went to the fundamental classes. And then I got that first stripe, I was like, maybe I should start showing up a little more, a little more, and a little more.
Most definitely.
So, knowing what you do know now, if you could have told yourself at white belt any one thing, what would you have told yourself?
Man, that's a really good question, because I think it, like the same advice, but keep coming back, right? And then I think there's.
But you were already there, right?
If
you already
there,
caught that bug.
I've already caught that bug. Then it would be like, maybe dive into your fears a bit more. I think that
I like that.
It's hard to. We always have a choice, right? So on the mat, we have a choice. Like, I'll give you an example: being a white belt and knowing that certain roles on the mat. So you go to a Sunday open mat.
Yeah.
And you got all your peers. You do all right with those guys. And they choke you sometimes. You choke them sometimes. It's great. And then there's like these blue belts that, man, it just works. You just work and work and nothing happens. And then you got some purple belts that maybe are just savage competitors or something.
Yeah.
And they just murder your soul. And, and so you have this. And then, and that creates a lot of emotions. But I think that fear is one of them. And anxiety and things like that, where you're like kind of like, oh, you know what? You can take the easy path. You can deny someone that role. If a purple belt comes up to you, hey, you want to roll? Oh man, I'm stretching right now.
Yeah.
and then your buddy like a minute later that you've been training with, and you guys are peers, and he's like, hey, you want to roll? Like, yeah, I want to roll. And like you go roll with him, and it's all good. So I think that my advice to myself would be to kind of jump into those fears: fear of competition, fear of rolling with the harder rolls, fear of pushing yourself. Dive into that a little bit harder.
Definitely. Love it. There's definitely times I'm like, I gotta take a deep breath, like, I haven't rolled with this purple belt yet, or this brown belt, or that guy. I better do it, because I can't just keep rolling with blues or the whites. I gotta dive in.
Bro, and it continues.
Yeah.
I'm a brown belt, and some people, I'm like, man, that sounds like a lot of work.
So what do you think is the hardest belt to go through?
I mean, brown belt's been pretty. I can't say it's been easy at all, but brown belt's been very. I guess I easily sat into my brown belt. You know, what I mean? I was like, I felt good when I got it. I felt like I got. You know what I mean? And then now that fast forward a couple years into it, I feel really good about it. So, and it's been fun. It's been more discovery than ever. More effectiveness came. My instruction became more of a priority. I fell more in love with jiu-jitsu through my brown belt. So I can't say it was particularly harder than I think purple belt. I think purple belt was the hardest because blue belt, I was game. I was ready to go. So I wanted my purple belt real bad, and I got it. Like it was all good. And then my purple belt was different. It was like. I was the pressure's on more. All the roles you thought you were, like, man, guys that were brown belts and black belts, man, I thought, like, in my head, I had this whole different idea of what our interaction was. And then, for some reason, I put this purple belt around my waist, and everyone was like, this guy's murdering me. It was like a whole different realm. I'm like, dude, you guys just like, were you just chilling?
Yeah.
You just chilling the last couple of years? Like, because I feel like, now I feel really insecure about that. Just getting crushed, and so the pressure came on from not only the younger belts, the people in their ladder under their blue belt, but the brown and black belts, man, they really like turned it up on me. It wasn't, and I think it.
So it was them turning it up on you. Like,
I think it had.
They don't give you any slack anymore. There's no. Slack
there's hardly. Yeah, there's like, and it's you might receive some from some black belts. Yeah, of course, there's like world level guys that are just cooking dinner in one hand. And So I think that like there's that, but generally speaking, I think that like the purple belt, like I know as a brown belt, like if you get your purple belt, dude, like what's up? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's game time now. Like, let's build your effectiveness. Because that's what it was. That's what it And I think that's what the purple belt, why it was so hard is like, okay, your jiu-jitsu is effective now, but it now needs to become effective against those high level guys, against brown belts, against black belts. And your teaching needs, your abilities need to be there for teaching. And so there was more pressure on all aspects. And then I realized, man, I got to compete more. Because like I competed a little bit in the beginning of my purple belt, but then there was like hardly any competition during my purple belt. And the latter end of it, I decided, okay, hey, I'm gonna start competing more. And I probably competed more at brown belt than I ever did in any belts. Really? Yeah.
Wow.
So that was like purple belt was tough because I was like, man, just trying to survive again
Yeah.
and then also
yeah.
like become effective towards those people and stuff. So it was a grindier belt. The training sessions were harder,
Purple belt
tougher,
was a grindy belt.
grindier belt, and I definitely had to make it through a lot of these training sessions that everybody at the mat was better than me.
Yeah.
So you get good enough, and then you're like, hey, come hang out with us. And you're like, really? And then they're like, yeah, we're just gonna beat the hell out of you. we need a nail on the mat. And, we're all hammers. Right. We need a nail. You hang out with us. Yeah, which inevitably makes you better. But
yeah, it does for real.
I think that to answer your question, the purple belt was the toughest.
That's awesome. I actually never would have thought you would have said that. So
really?
That's
what
actually,
were you gonna say?
I just assumed like you're gonna throw out white because it's like that's the belt that gets you in.
It's
easy, hard.
Man. You can do anything. It's a white belt.
Yeah.
You can do whatever. Like I'm a white belt.
Yeah. You always have that excuse of I'm just a white belt.
Oops. Oopsies.
I mean, because I wouldn't think even being a blue belt that white would be the hardest, but I just thought just because it's you have to go in. Showing up is so hard.
Yeah, it's super duper hard, but it's super easy knowing that you're a beginner.
Yeah.
It's like you have a mentality. It's like just like
once you get in.
Yeah, once you get in, you're like, oh yeah, I'm a beginner. Like you see all these other white belts and how they progress, and you can kind of like you're always comparing yourself to others. Inevitably, it's just what we do as humans. So you're just like, okay, well that person's doing this, and this is how I do against them, and blah blah blah. But like as a white belt, you're just like, oh yeah, it don't matter, dude. Like I'm a white belt. Like, I still learn. But then you get a blue belt, it gets a little more serious.
Yeah.
And then it's harder to swallow those defeats and grow as a as a person. So
I get it.
It's weird, man. Yeah, but like I feel like white belt's easy, man. It's easy peasy. Yeah. Like sometimes I wish I was a white belt. I don't. Never mind. I take that back. But like,
redact.
Oh man, I wish I had like just to spend one day as a white belt or something like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like forget my belt and I'll put a white belt on and confuse like people that stop in. Usually when I do that, someone stops in that I've never met.
That's hilarious.
It's so funny, dude. I had one dude. Some guy came in. I can't remember where he's from, but it was a Sunday, dude. Forgot my belt, and I had put this white belt on, and I was like training, and this is like 3 or 4 months ago.
I remember you coming in on a Sunday mat with a white belt.
This guy was just like so confused because he was like, I triangled him pretty quickly, and he was like walking me through the triangle, and I was like nice, and like I'm strangling him as he's talking, and but not mean, just super fluent, and
he was trying to give you pointers.
Yeah, and then about midway through the roll, he was like, you could see it on his face. He's like, what the fuck is going on? And then after the roll, he was like, you're really good. Like, I was like, I'm sorry, dude. I couldn't tell you earlier. I just had to play this game with you, man. But he felt really good about himself after I told him I was a brown belt and an instructor at the academy.
That is a good turn. Yeah. Like, oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
For the longest time, that happened to me with Ron, because I always saw him no-gi.
Oh, yeah.
Always no-gi. Mm-hmm. So I had no idea, and I never, put it together, why can't I do anything about this? This guy is just not even paying attention while we're rolling and destroying me.
Yep.
And then, I saw him in gi, I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. He's a black belt. Of course he's a black belt.
Yeah, that's nice sense of relief, oh.
Yeah, oh, not that shitty. Man. He's just that good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So what's your favorite part then about teaching jiu-jitsu?
Oh man, I have a lot of favorite parts. I think my favorite part probably has more to do with a greater connection to people than I had before. Mm-hmm. Jiu-jitsu is wonderfully constructed to be an atmosphere to build friendships and
definitely.
It's like a really cool place to meet new people and hang out and that you can develop mentorships there. You can you're going to meet so many people in jiu-jitsu on the mat that it's it really opens up doors. So you get connected with these people. And then teaching is really rewarding. It's super strange, and it almost jacks me up when I think about it. Man, I get teary-eyed sometimes. Oh man, because it's especially the way I look at teachers, the way I look at people who taught me jiu-jitsu for years. I have this immense amount of respect for them. Not because they can beat me up, not because they're, they showed me these jiu-jitsu. It's just man, they took the time to not only learn this, right, to a point where they can actually, talk about it and teach someone. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It takes years and years and years.
Yeah, definitely.
So then they got to this point. Now they're sharing it with others, and they're an integral part of the progress that I'm making. And then you do years and years and years of that and develop a relationship with that instructor. it's like, you know, like I always joke around, called Robin my jiu-jitsu dad.
Yeah.
He is. He's my jiu-jitsu dad. It's super weird. Like, you know, it's like
I don't think it's weird. I think it makes perfect sense.
Well, yeah. I guess it's super weird. I guess it's super weird that that this exists, right?
Yeah,
I never thought
you.
that I would be like, that I would look up to someone like this. You know what I mean? Like, I look up to Robin in so many different ways. I look up to BJ in so many different ways. You know, there's people look up to Tom. You know, he's not my instructor per se, but man, he's taught me a lot of jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So, and now to be, you know, like basically like gifted this ability and like opportunity to share what I've learned with people is crazy. Like, it's crazy, dude. And it's so wildly rewarding, and especially to see like the growth on the mat, and then also like if you teach long enough, you know, you will affect someone in a positive way. Yeah. Hopefully only in positive ways. But we're all learning, so you probably have no idea. I go home sometimes and think about like one word I said or a sentence that I said that in front of 30 people where I'm like, oh my God, you really got it.
Yeah, I never would
think about what you're saying.
Yeah,
go crazy over it.
That.
I'm wild case, dude. I'm always thinking too much, but you know, it's like, you know, it's a big responsibility. Yeah. And so it's made me not only understand the techniques that I'm sharing with people better and be able to put them together in real time and be effective at them, but it's made me understand myself better and become a better person. You know, just like, you know, like how, like I joke around about my, I have nieces and nephews now, just here in the last 3 years. And I can't tell you how much their existence has driven me to not suck more than anything. Like, I'm like, I can't suck
like
at
as
all.
a person.
Yeah, like general, I can't suck at all,
person,
at all as a person. Like, you know, this little guy, my nephew Austin's 3 years old, man. He you know, he sees me, lights up, man. Like, I play guitar, and he's like, what? You know, and he's like, man, he's always asking me where my guitar is. Like, we give him guitar. He's got 2 guitars now. I mean, the guy's just...
That's awesome.
And I know...
They look up to you.
They look up to you.
You can see it.
Yeah, it's wild. So, you know, and it's the same kind of... I feel the same kind of way about being an instructor. Like, I can't suck, man. Like, I can't... Not only can I, like... I need to compete more. I need to be on the mat more. I need to be an example. Yeah. But then also need to be a good person off the mat, too. So, you know, I don't think that I'm a bad person off the mat, but I think everyone needs work, you know. Could need work or could improve themselves, and this is a process that never ends. Yeah. So, you know, if I can continue to be motivated to be a better person on and off the mat, to be a better instructor, because I don't want to be, you know, some instructor that's like half-assing it, you know. It's like I want to be the person that, you know, if somebody calls me, if you call me and need something, whether that's advice or whatever, you know, I'm going to be there for you, man. No, you know what I mean? And especially on the mat, if you like, hey man, I got this issue with this card. Well, let's dig it up, man. Let's see what we can fix. And so that like exchange that I witnessed and experienced on the receiving end of that exchange as a student, now giving it to people as an instructor is like widely rewarding. So I think my favorite part is the connections I've developed.
That's amazing. All right, this is going to be a turn. Why are wrist locks dirty? Oh. Why are they thought of as dirty?
I've been reading this question. Man, I'm going to think of a good answer for this. All right, here's how I'm going to break down wrist locks. Right.
It's a self-serving question.
Yes, I understand that. I know you like the wrist locks. So, I'm a fan of wrist locks. I don't do them at all, really. I'll do them lightly to get the rest of the limb.
Gotcha, yeah.
So that's kind of how, like, personally how I utilize wrist locks. Because of my hatred for them, which I'll try to explain, I will not feel satisfied. Like, if I wrist lock you, dude, like, I'm not going to take that home. You know what I mean? Like, if I strangle you, like, it's a little different. Like, all right, cool. Because you're hard to catch these days, man. Yeah, if I choke you, I'm like, yeah. But if I wrist lock you, I'm like, oh, I'm a cheater. So now here's my explanation of why I feel this way.
Yeah.
And it goes, I think it has a... you know, there's a big side of it that has to do with like my just disgust for wrist locks, just because they're wrist locks. Yeah. And if I get caught in a wrist lock, like I'm not pleased, and I've been injured by not letting my ego get in front of the wrist lock. Like I've watched my wrist pop, like I've watched it pop, dude, and like literally like was like don't give a fuck, like keep going, you know? And I watch this person like and I'm just like pop, and I'm like. And then if you watch, that was not even a month before I did pants for the first time. So if you watch, there's a picture I posted on the internet or something, just some long rant about what pants did for me.
Yeah.
This loss, this 5-minute devastation that I experienced in California, did a lot for me. But there's a picture of me, and I have my guard wrapped around this murderer that killed me, and my wrist is taped. And it's solely because of ego. So I literally and he didn't tap me. He let go, and I murdered his soul for it. But then, that night I'm icing my wrist. So so this is how I break down wrist locks. You have the whole body, right? Mm-hmm. So if we look at a violent interaction, if we look at how to end a fight,
mm-hmm.
if you and I are fighting and you break my wrist, yes, it will hurt. No, it won't stop the fight, right? Even if you break my arm, yes, it will hurt. If I'm a tough motherfucker, maybe a little drunk, and I might grit through that too,
mm-hmm.
right? You strangle me, the fight's over. So I have this in my head, a priority list of what's my priority. Well, my highest priority is the strangulation. My
Mm-hmm.
highest priority is the choke. Always, I always want the neck, and then I'll settle for arms and legs. I'll settle for those things.
Yeah.
And then wrist locks are the way bottom, right? Way bottom. And they're the bottom because of that effectiveness of where they lie, right? So if I break your wrist, it's one thing. And then also, too, one of the things I've noticed in training jiu-jitsu for so long is that wrist locks come on really quick.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
And I really don't want to hurt anybody,
Mm-hmm.
just because I know what it's like to be accidentally hurt by someone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone's intentionally ever hurt me, but people pop my shit plenty of times.
Yeah.
It's and some of those people weren't trying to do that, but they were way, way more intense than they needed to be. If I look back, some of them.
Yeah.
But I think that if there is a submission clock on when it's applied and to when it's too late, the wrists are like super short clock.
Yeah.
Right. So the choke clock is great because it doesn't matter how long that choke clock is. You can strangle somebody and then they'll fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then when they fall asleep, it's over. And if it takes 3 seconds, it's fine. If it takes 8, it's fine. If it takes 10, it's fine. Now, arm locks. You get arm locked, and that arm lock starts getting extended. I mean, dude, your body does so many things to tell you that's not good.
Yeah.
And and then even if it goes too far and it pops, it's still not the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's so much involved in it that you can have. And it's so controlled from the person who's applying it that you can take your time. Like I've arm lock people at the speed of smell, slow, and just watching them try to struggle, and finally they're like, okay, tap, right. If I wrist lock them, as soon as I start applying that pressure and really trying to manipulate their joint, it's on, right. And so if I go too ham, maybe I'm excited, rolling with somebody, I could really injure them. So I kind of think of that, I don't personally like them because of what we did. I try to explain.
No, that's actually a great explanation.
Is it?
Yeah.
I hope so.
I don't actually disagree with the whole statement. I still love wrist locks. Always I want a choke first.
My goal is to persuade you away from the wrist lock.
I still love a choke way more.
Yeah, it's so much more satisfying. Yeah, so I think that's my thing about wrist locks.
And same thing. Half the time I'm using a wrist lock, it's because they do some wild move that gives me an arm. Or opens up their neck.
Yeah,
that's half the reason.
Yeah, I'll wrist lock people very faintly.
Yeah,
just to get them to address the wrist, and they'll take the rest.
It's when they don't address it is normally when I get a wrist lock, and I'm
right, and you hunker down on it, and
and I can take it slow, and they don't react to it.
Yeah, I've wrist locked people where, they weren't happy about it.
Yeah,
and, maybe an upper belt or something, and you can just see it. Maybe they weren't saying it, but I was like, man, I got it. And then the way they came at me afterwards, oh shit. That person doesn't like wrist locks.
Definitely.
Which I'm probably a huge culprit for. I get angry about some things. Not angry, but I mean.
I know what you mean.
I'm like, okay, you've opened the store.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, I've experienced it recently. I opened that door.
Oh no! I'm so sorry. Dude,
no, that was fun.
So think about that.
Yeah.
That is a big, what I was talking about earlier, about having so you get submitted,
mm-hmm.
and how how your ego goes with that, right?
Yeah.
And how you react to certain things,
and
how I feel later about them. Just to let you know, I lost a little bit of sleep over.
No, really?
Yeah. Because
you felt bad about it, or just?
No, you heel hooked me in the gi.
Yeah, I did. As soon as it happened, I'm like, I'm about to get my ass kicked.
That's why I was able to sleep, because whatever self-reflection I had laying in bed was quelled by the, oh, you fuck him. he hooked me in the gi. But like my reaction to that was like, okay, fine, you open the store.
Yeah.
Same thing with Ricardo did it. He's another blue belt we train with. He did the same thing, man. He dropped down. It was this new. You guys were like, literally, I could like videotape you both doing this, and then with the same look on your face. It was like this mischievous, like you fell down to a straight ankle, and I start to address the straight ankle, and then you're like reaching your elbow back and turning, and I'm like, are you really going to do that? Yeah, yes, I am going to do that. What do you think about this one? And in my, I'll tell you, like my thoughts about the heel hook is that I think it's greatly effective. In the rule set with the gi usually doesn't, some people get super butthurt. I've watched people like, heel hook in the gi? What? They like start losing their shit.
For people who don't know, you're not supposed to normally heel hook in the gi.
So the gi, you're not supposed to heel hook. There's a lot of different reasons why, but I think that with no gi, it's like very much there. Right? So it's going to happen. It could happen. So you're way more cognitive about it. In the gi, it's kind of like when Ricardo did it for me the first time. He's got a great straight ankle lock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Really good straight ankle lock. So the curious, part of me, he catches my ankle and I'm like, oh shit. And he drops down and I'm like, wait a second. So my thought process is like, Ricardo's got a really good straight ankle lock. So I start defending this straight ankle lock.
Yeah.
And then he starts heel hooking me. And I'm like, man, I'm already too thick into this, dude. You got my leg trapped. Like I'm not gonna go crazy out of this. And part of me wants to, like I know, because I've heel hooked people in the gi. And upper belts in the gi and watch their reactions as you did. Mm-hmm. And I understood that, once I started dropping down for it, I've watched people fight out of it, and I didn't feel really good about that, and because I was like, oh, I might hurt them. And then I've also I've pushed it too hard before a couple times, where someone caught me and I was like, gonna get out of it, and then I put myself worse in it, or it got tighter, or my reaction wasn't there, because I think a lot of arm locks, any limb manipulation goes, once they secure the limb and start manipulating the joint, well, things have gone too far.
Yeah.
You're already really so I'll stop, but then my reaction of it is like, oh, you healed me in the gi. And so I'm like, all right, dude, you just opened up the door, you might as well be a purple belt. And I just started rolling hard with you, but my thought after that was like, man, I really as soon as you tap, bro, I was on my feet, looking for a hand slap again, come on, let's go. Then you tap again, I'm like, all right, let's go again. And I'm like, that's a little crazy, Mike. You need to calm down.
I honestly thought it was a lot of fun. I got to feel competition, Maclean.
You're not supposed to see that yet. I was saving that for you.
Oh no!
Now you get it. See, you quit catching me, dude.
Well, I only got a couple, man.
Well, hopefully I can
trust me, I've enjoyed every single one.
Oh, I understand. I completely.
All right, so since you're my first real interview, I want to do a lightning round. I think I'm going to call it the gauntlet.
I like it.
So they're going to be a little more rapid fire. You can elaborate if you want on them.
Okay.
So let's just start off with a nice, easy one. Your favorite submission?
Favorite submission is the Darce choke.
Darce choke? Okay. Why the Darce?
Oh, man. Once I understood it, it just became a moneymaker for me. The control position's great. I think that it's there a lot. The threat of it leads to a lot of great things. And, man, I feel like once I get everything captured in it, I can find how to find the choke with it. It's become one of my really go-tos. So I like the mechanics of it the most.
Yeah. I really thought you were going to say triangle on that one.
Man, I can say that. I love the triangle. But the Darce is just a triangle with the arm.
That's true. That's a very good point.
Yeah, the triangle is my second favorite for sure. Yeah. But I think that's I don't know, man. I've been doing triangle for a long time. So I feel like when I started playing top more, which I try to do more often than not, is the Darce has become my fave.
Gotcha. Least favorite submission besides wrist locks?
Oh, my least favorite submission. Man.
Of the big submissions.
Of the big submissions. Yeah. My least favorite to do?
Yeah.
To other people?
Just least favorite?
Omoplata.
Okay.
My least favorite. I hate it. I can't do it very well. And I feel like when I try to do it and I get it, it doesn't really give me much satisfaction.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I hang out with Tom Feister more, but Maybe he's made me hate it because he's
Because
applauded me
he
like
gets
1,000
you.
times. So, like, yeah, I just feel like it's a submission that I'm just like, I never use it.
I gotcha. Your favorite position for attacks?
The back.
Yeah.
The back 100%. I've
Hell yeah.
really felt good about the back in the last couple of years. Like the understanding of it, it's the best.
Yeah.
100%. It's too many options, and man, it's like a terrible place to be, as you know.
Yeah.
And somebody
Yeah.
got your
Yeah.
back, man. Think of the worst place to be. Oh, somebody really good got
Yep.
your back. Like Juan's got your back. That's a town.
No
That's
bueno.
It's a sad time.
Yeah. I can tell you, when was the back control month? That was just a few months ago. There's a very specific class you taught that I think took my back game just way up there. Like, you broke down the mechanics of when to use this control on this side, and your choking arm's on the bottom, as opposed to when your choking arm is the top. Mm-hmm. That class really escalated my back game, I think, a lot. It was a great class.
Beautiful.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. All right. Food?
Chimichangas.
Ooh.
Dude, chimichangas for life. I just live on chimichangas.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Favorite hobby besides jiu-jitsu? If jiu-jitsu even is considered a hobby at this point.
Oh man,
More
at this point, I
life.
don't think it's
Yeah.
a hobby, dude. It's my life, man.
Yeah,
My
that's
life's
what this-
work. As I heard Robin say that one day. My life's work, and I said, I like that.
Yeah, that
I
is a
think I'm going to
good.
adopt that later.
That is a good one. That's a good one. Let me write that down.
Yeah,
real
write
quick.
that down, geezer. But yeah, nah, fishing for sure, man.
Fishing?
I love fishing. Like sometimes, man, I've caught some fish this past year, bro. That I don't know, man. I may have been feeling such immense happiness from netting this fish than triangling anybody in competition.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. We're getting to the good stuff now. What would be your strategy for fighting a hippo?
Fighting
You're cornered. You gotta fight it.
Holy
Yep,
shit,
you gotta
dude.
fight it.
Do I have weapons?
Nope.
Damn. Bare hand hippo fight?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't think that's going to end well for me. I mean, from what I know about hippos.
Yeah, they're mean
jacked to
SOBs.
Well, man, that's a really great question. I mean, I guess I just got to hop on its back somehow. Like, can't be in front of it because its jaws are too big, they open too wide. I feel like.
Yeah.
Man, this is so funny because I've thought about fighting several animals. I never thought about.
Oh, this isn't the last one. This isn't the last question on that.
So I think it's going to be like take the back of the hippo and like just punch it repeatedly in the eyes, like maybe hold on to its ears and just
eye attacks.
Go like ham on the eyes and just hope that I fuck it up enough before it eats me or like thrashes me. I'd be like, once it bites you and thrashes you, or gets you in front of it, like you can probably do some super serious damage. So
definitely,
I'll be running around that son of a bitch and jumping on its back.
That's where I went to was the eyes. I feel like the eyes, they're just so weak on any animal.
That's
That's what
if
you
I
got.
blind it, maybe it can't see. I just run around it until
At least confuse it for long enough.
Oh, that'd be a scary time.
Yeah, it would be. Favorite jiu-jitsu memory?
Oh man, favorite jiu-jitsu memory. Oh, I've had so many.
Yeah, it might be hard with 10 or 11 years.
I'll go with my most recent.
Okay, that's good.
Favorite jiu-jitsu memory. I turned 31 on November 16th this past year, and I had just threw out an invite to a couple of my friends, like BJ and Travis and a couple guys, and said, "Hey man, I'm getting an open mat going on Friday. Like, I'd really love for you guys to be there." And man, I got just what I wanted. I walked in to the academy. I had a joke with Robin earlier that week about. He said something about baking me a cake, and I was like, "You better bake me a cake." And he's like, "I will." And I was like, "Have you ever baked a cake before?" He's like, "Nope." I'm like, "If you bake me a cake, I will be thrilled." Like, I don't even know I don't even know if I can deal with that. And so I walk in. Actually, on my way there, Travis called me like, "Where are you at? It's your birthday." And I'm like, "I'm late as usual." As per usual. And I show up, and Robin's like, somebody I can tell. I think Greg Smith had a camera up, and he's like filming me. I walked in the door. I'm like, what? And then Robin pulls out from behind the desk. He's got this cake in his hand.
That is
and oh man, my heart was so warm. No one knows how close I was to tears at that moment in time, man. I was just so like, wow, like man, I love these people, and Robin Geezer just baked me a fucking cake. And he has 8 kids, and he's never baked a cake before. Like, I must be special, man. And that was just really special. And I got this, so I got to hang out with all my jiu-jitsu buddies I hadn't seen in a while, all on the same mat. Usually I
Yeah.
can see these people with various mats, and then got to roll with BJ, got to roll with Travis, got to roll with Robin, and they all destroyed my life. And, Robin choked me with the same choke twice.
Oh, that was the same day you were just talking about.
Yeah,
that.
I was talking about this last night. I taught that choke, because I was like, oh, well, this is effective. Better dial this one in. He's just trying to be like a white belt. And he did. I mean, the second time it was coming, I'm like, no way. God. I was like, I'm such a white belt still, man. Like a brown belt getting choked the same way twice. So yeah, that happened. But it was like, man, it was the best day. I left there like, man, my heart was so warm, dude. It was like so wild.
That is a good one. All right. Position you think you're best at defending?
Best at defending?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I feel like every time I feel good about the position that I'm good at defending, I'm not going to become really bad at defending it. Because I feel like I'm pretty good at defending the mount position.
Mount.
I feel like that's probably I feel like I can weather the storm.
Okay.
Mounted. Yeah, I definitely, because my ability to escape and regard or switch the position is greater from underneath the mount than it is underneath side body or anywhere else. So,
that's good.
And I definitely feel like the mount position is that one because I feel pretty safe there. If I give up your back, then it's a different story. But that's the worst case scenario. On top of getting choked and things like that for the mount's one thing, but giving up your back is the other. So I feel like I could weather the storm for longer in the mount than anywhere else.
I like it. Favorite drink?
Alcoholic drink?
Nope, just drink.
Just drink? Water, man. I'm weird. I love water. Like,
dude, I'm totally with you on that.
Well, actually, no. I can't say that because I'm obsessed with coffee. Like,
yeah.
I'm so obsessed. I'll drink coffee at 8 at night.
Yeah, fair enough.
I love it so much. So I take that back. I love water, but that's essential. Life, you need it. So I drink a lot of it. But yeah, I smash coffee, dude.
Yeah. Okay. Man, now you got me thinking on which I like more. Coffee
yeah,
or
I don't
water.
know, man, because
That's
they go hand in hand. You drink enough coffee, you're like, well, I gotta use some water.
I always have water next to my
dude.
coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, if I don't do that, I'll drink and I won't drink anything water-wise, and all of a sudden I'll be like, I'm dehydrated. Like, I'll pee and be like, I smell coffee. Like, should pee smell like coffee?
It's like really bright yellow.
Yeah, dude, I'm
bit
like,
dehydrated.
I got coffee peas like throughout the week all the time. I'm like, that's a reminder to go drink some more water.
So, jiu-jitsu versus jiu-jitsu. Would you call it a match or a fight?
A match.
Okay. Favorite beer?
Favorite beer.
First type of beer, then brand.
Okay. First type of beer. I like a crispy lager, man. Okay. So I like just a chill, crispy beer, not too high in alcohol. And if I were to go with like the crispy lager side, like I love a Beck's, man.
Okay.
Give me a Beck's, dude, all day. It's a super neutral beer, crispy, delicious. Beck's it is.
See, I need advice on beer. I'm still discovering the world.
I've frayed away from, IPAs and things. I used to really like IPAs, and now I'm just like, man, give me a crispy beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're back to animals.
Boom. Bring it.
You have to fight to death an animal. Which would you choose to fight? A lion, a black bear, or an orangutan?
Bear.
Yeah, because grizzly bears.
You're
You're just done. You're not picking grizzly bear.
You said orangutan. I would not fuck with orangutan. I think that from what I've read and like watched tons of Animal Planet and stuff like that, like monkeys are super strong and they have thumbs. And
orangutans
they
are super
bite.
strong.
Yeah, they're super strong.
They're
They bite
big
and like
ones.
this. So they got this. It's not good.
Yeah.
And their limbs are super long. And I think that it'd probably be the best animal to use jiu-jitsu against because I feel like if I took an orangutan's back and like really set in a choke, like their anatomy is pretty
similar enough to humans.
Similar enough. I think that pretty sure. I mean, I haven't looked into this, but maybe the carotid play the same place as humans. I think they do.
That's actually a really good question.
Yeah, I think most animals have have that that brain that blood flow to the brain somewhere in the neck.
But is it at the same
is it
side?
the same
That's a good
perfect
question.
spot that the humans have? I don't know, but I'm sure I could find it.
Yeah,
and that's one of my favorite thoughts in jiu-jitsu is find the artery. So I feel like I'd be pretty good at that. So I wouldn't fight an orangutan, and then a black bear and a lion. I would fight a fucking black bear over a lion all day, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, big cat, no way, man. Like, Especially, a lion's huge, dude. I've seen all these animals in person, like at the zoo and stuff. Like, no way, dude. Lions are just super intimidating and vicious and packed with power. I mean, think of my sister has a pit bull, and this thing's rock solid muscle, dude. I mean, like, it's not very big, but dude, if it runs into you, it's like, oh my god, like knock you over. So I think about like, how muscle packed this dog is, and then like, man, think about like a predatory cat, like the largest one, like that thing just fuck you up. At least a bear, like, man, I think a bear would probably be the slowest out of the three, and it'd all be terrible.
Yeah, it'd be a bad situation no matter what.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I'm changing I would fight a orangutan because I feel like,
just for similarity to what
yes,
you're used to fighting?
dude, probably the best chance against orangutan. Even though it could rip my arms off, I think.
You really just gotta avoid the swinging and the, I guess the bites. They got
the bites,
chompers.
man. But get under its jaw. I mean, what's it gonna do? You know, like. I mean, maybe somebody will let me fight the orangutan.
The chin defense.
Yeah,
it's
it's not gonna be that. Yeah, dude, it's time to learn no jiu-jitsu, man. Like, if I get around it, like, if I get on it, I mean, I feel like I could wrap this thing up for sure. Rear naked choke, orangutan all day, 100%.
I like it. Also, lions also go for the neck too. That's
dude.
I'm scared
well,
about
and that's
lions,
the other reason I
right
changed. And that's the other reason I changed my answers because orangutans, I'm pretty sure aren't predatory.
No.
So so the bear and the lion, like, they've killed.
That's
things.
a good point.
They've killed things before, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, they know what's
They've
up.
been there.
They're taking lives. Like, you know, the orangutan's like chilling. Like, he doesn't. You know, maybe he's taking his brother's life or something like that. You know, it's another primate, but.
No one's ever brought that point up that it's the only non-predatory.
Try to think smart, man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fight smart.
Favorite movie?
Oh man, favorite movie. I know they're supposed to be really fast, so I have a lot.
Well, no, it's fine to think. They're not rapid fire.
They're not rapid fire.
Yeah.
Favorite movie, go. Oh man, you know, I think one of my favorite movies is because there's so many. My favorite movie is Lethal Weapon.
Nice.
And I was gonna go with Dirty Work, but like, I love that movie and it's funny. But Lethal Weapon, man, I could watch that movie every day, all day. I love it, man. I love Lieutenant Riggs. You got the Gary Busey, you know, Mr. Joshua and Lieutenant Riggs in the front of Murtaugh's house at the end with the triangle choke that Rogan Gracie himself was on set. I read.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Mel Gibson the fucking triangle choke on Gary Busey, bud.
Does anybody even like watch that? I don't think watching that I knew he was being choked.
I had no idea,
at all.
man.
I think it was just like a control thing.
Yeah. And he's like, "You're not worth it." He like kicks him off. Oh, it's so good, man. Yeah, I love that movie, dude. It's so good. The humor, the crazy cop, like, Lethal Weapon, 100%.
And you have seen It's Always Sunny's version,
oh my God.
right?
That's like some of my favorite Sunny episodes, man. Because that shit's too good.
Yeah,
like, man, that's the funny shit right there. Like the black face and the fucking mustache. Like, what the hell, man? Like, only those people.
That show cracks me up.
Yeah, only that show can get away with that.
That's
man.
true.
And they switch it up. And oh man.
Yeah,
so
they like
good.
switch parts halfway through.
They're trying to sell it to that bank teller. The idea of like getting a loan for it. Like, she's like, what the fuck am I watching? Oh yeah, that's awesome.
All right, favorite TV show.
My favorite TV show. Man, you know, I really like. I guess I'll have to just ride the bandwagon and say Game of Thrones. I mean, it's just been such a great show, and even though HBO took the reins in the writing, it's still pretty good. And yeah, it was like, I feel like that show, like I was more like excited and enthralled with that show than really any other show that I watched. Yeah, you know, like waiting for that shit, you know, every week. Like, oh man,
there's a reason why everyone loves it. Though,
Yeah,
right?
agreed.
At some point, there's a reason why.
Agreed.
All right, personal geek question. First off, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
Man, I never played Dungeons and Dragons. I've never played it. Ever. Not one time. I've only, like, I don't know even anything about it.
It's like a myth and a legend to you.
Yeah, I wasn't, like, nobody in my, I feel like no one played it that I knew when I was younger. And, you know, man, the only thing I can think about, literally, when I hear Dungeons and Dragons, you ever seen this, the movie Salt Lake City Punk?
Mm-mm.
What? You never seen SLC Punk?
No.
Oh, man.
It sounds like a skater movie.
Dude, you gotta see this movie. It's not a skater movie.
No?
It's a punk rock movie.
Oh.
No, great movie, man. I've never seen it.
Say it again. What was it called?
Salt Lake City Punk.
Salt Lake City.
It's got Matthew Lillard is the the main character. It's basically just about his progression through being a punk rock dude.
I'm gonna type it in here so I have it.
Do it, man. It's a great flick. Probably one of my more favorite movies out there. And but like they're listening to Rush as kids. It's like a flashback, and they're listening to Rush in the basement playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And they're like complaining about like being lame. Not to like
No, that's fine.
But they're like we gotta get out there, man. We gotta start doing more stuff. We can't be just in this basement playing Dungeons and Dragons. And then they're like listening to Rush, and then the guy's like, Neil Peart's a great drummer, and like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And the dude his name's Heroin Bob is his name in the
Heroin Bob.
And the only reason they call him Heroin Bob is because he won't do drugs.
Okay.
All right, so they call him Heroin Bob because he like won't do drugs at all. He's like super super straight edge, but he'll drink, like crazy, but he won't do drugs. And so they call him. Why his name is Heroin Bob. But yeah, he's like takes the Rush tape out and he throws like some punk rock. I can't remember what the punk rock band was. But he put it in. And he's like, yeah, listen to this. And that was like the start of their punk rock life. They quit playing.
Oh, so that's the storyline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Well, on that same note, I think I know the answer already. Have you played Magic the Gathering?
I never played Magic the Gathering. I was around people that did throughout life, but never got into it.
Fair enough. And the classic of all classic questions, back to animals. If you had a choice of fighting 100 duck-sized horses, a bunch of tiny little horses, or one horse-sized duck, so a big-ass duck, which would you choose and why?
Out of effort, I would choose the giant duck.
Out of effort.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of I would have to stomp a lot of horses.
Yeah,
like, there's a lot of stomping.
100 is a lot.
And like they bite like little bit of bites. I think of like the second Jurassic Park with the little green dinosaurs.
Yeah,
they team up on that dude and they fuck him up.
Yep.
I feel like if enough horses were angry at me, like I might not have a good day, and it'd be hard to be like multiple attackers. At least I'd have like one focus with a giant duck.
Yeah,
and I feel like ducks and geese, like I feel like their necks are weak. You know what I mean? They got longer necks, so I feel like I could.
Whoa, they're not mammals though, right? So they're
not mammals.
I don't know if they're going to have the
Actually,
same choking.
Odd that you say that because I had no thoughts of strangling any ducks.
Oh, okay.
No, I literally thought of breaking their necks.
Yeah,
so like, I thought like,
you
all
just
right,
snap.
yeah, dude, like jump on that thing and like it might be. I feel like I could like somehow like maybe like Bill Goldberg's spirit's neck or something like that, like right in the throat, like get it. I don't
Goldberg's spirit in the neck,
dude. Like I feel like I would fight a giant
Oh, that's
duck.
hilarious.
Yeah, try to figure out how to take that thing down.
I like it just out of a focus point.
I'm a focused person.
Yeah, I feel like I picked the big duck because I'm not a focused person, and 100 horses, I'm just like, I'm lost, I'm out.
That's too many horses.
Yeah,
even if they're miniature.
All right, man. Before I want to go, I put this in a script, but I want to say it. So basically, back in the day, when BJ left the school, I was kind of lost in jiu-jitsu world. And I decided to stick with Relson Gracie because, I love Robin. I love the school. I love the people there. But BJ really was my mentor back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I went to all his classes. He was the one that always came to my competitions and everything like that for sure. And so I wasn't sure if I made the right choice. But I just want to tell you that after a year, 2 years, whatever it's been, that you've definitely you've replaced BJ, and you are definitely my mentor now.
Oh,
and I really appreciate it.
What?
Like, just
warm my damn heart.
Yeah.
Zach. Give me
You've done a great job, and I know being a teacher, you probably don't get that enough. But I appreciate the time and effort you put into it.
Brother, man, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I feel the same way about you, man. You're a great dude and a wonderful person to have on the mat. I'm glad that we blossomed into a friendship that we have. And yeah, man, that's an honor, bro. That's like man, that like warms my jiu-jitsu heart for sure. And man, I never thought that I'd be in this spot to even try to be an instructor any type of mentor or anything like that. So that's wonderful, man. That'll just further my obsession with being a better person, a better instructor, and man.
I'm just glad I made the decision to stay because I really appreciate your teaching.
My man, thank you so much, dude.
I
appreciate you back, and I'm so happy you did. And everyone that left, and a lot of them were my really close friends. So I knew I would stay when that split happened, and I've seen other splits that happen. But man, I really appreciate you sticking around because we needed that.
Yeah.
We needed the solid dudes to stick around and continue.
Definitely.
Because BJ leaving, we knew about for years. But when it happened, it was different, man.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people gravitated towards that, and because BJ is such a good instructor and a great mentor.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, man.
Yeah, it was a tough decision.
Yeah, I got a jiu-jitsu dad and like a jiu-jitsu stepdad or some way. You know what I mean? Like they're both such huge parts of my life, and but my home's Relson, and and I knew for some reason, man, in my heart was just like I knew that I was like, man, I can't and I didn't really want. I don't think I ever felt like, okay, I got to make a decision. Like I knew my decision, but I felt really like I was like, man, there's no way I can go. Like if I even thought that, I need to be here to make sure that the other people know, like, hey man, this school is going to go on, and even though there's a handful of people who were effective parts of other people's progression, it doesn't mean that there aren't people left that that still can do that. And we still had a huge student base, even though some people left. Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, it was like I felt it, man. It's weird. Like I just knew it. And I had no idea. Like, man, I'll tell you, I had no idea that that Robin would trust me as much as he does to teach jiu-jitsu at his academy and share what I've learned with people. And that shit is nuts, dude. Like I literally
I can't imagine you being 10 years in the school for that. Like you've been rolling with those people.
Dude, it sucks. Because I love all those dudes, and it doesn't. It always sucks because of really just the locations. I mean, we're just not on the same mat anymore. So I still train with these people, but it's like they used to be just they were part of my day all the time, and now I see them when I make the effort to go there. Definitely. I see them or they make the effort to come out and train at the academy. So for sure. I feel like that's the last couple of years have been a little difficult. I think for everyone involved in it, but as time goes on, it's definitely quelled a bit. And I mentioned my favorite memory of jiu-jitsu recently was I was just trying to get my jiu-jitsu parents back together. That's all I wanted for my birthday.
That was the secret.
Yeah. And the funny thing is they'd already been they're BJ and Rob are wonderful friends, and they still teach people together. So it's not like we're completely separate or whatever. But I was like, for my birthday, I want my jiu-jitsu parents together, and I want to have my birthday with both my parents at the house, and it was wonderful, man. And I could feel it. You could see, how you could see it in their eyes too, man. I watched, everyone together, and it was like, man, this is the way it should be. So I think that here in the next couple of years, we're going to see a really cool kind of coming back together. I feel it, man. Like there's people like Tom's making a big effort to because BJ's one of many who had moved on to build their own, and it's a process of things, it happens. Like I have every intention to, at some point to, I don't know, own my own school, teach full time. I don't know what that looks like. And I'm way more dedicated to my own progression in the academy and all that. So I don't have any immediate things, but maybe 10 years from now,
but you can see that as
see that happening, and it's natural for it to, because I watched so many others happen. I mean, man, 10 years ago, bro, 8 years ago, even before, Gracie Upper Arlington started, and we had all those guys, Tony Zara and Matt, and you got Tom and Dave and Chris Bernard and all these other guys. I mean, they were all on the same mat. So it was when they left, it was even weird. And we just had to make an effort to kind of come back together. And I found myself years later, training with Tony, before I started teaching the Tuesday class. I was going out training at UA with Tony Zara. I was like, yes, because he's a wizard and super cool dude and wonderful to hang out with. So I go roll with him, and so there was always potential to come back together. And I think that the way that we've been going now and implementing the competition class on Mondays and Wednesdays have brought other people there. Brad shows up sometimes from BJ's, and Tom's pretty much there every week, and. And we're gonna. I know for a fact because I'm talking to some people, we're gonna see more of that. And then I'm gonna try to. I've been trying to get more over there. So just trying to. I guess it's a whole bunch of people trying to like navigate this. And maybe some of that was separate at first, and now I feel like it's mending back together. So
I can definitely feel that.
Yeah, I feel it too. And yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard times.
Yeah.
It's like, it's weird, but it's the way like jiu-jitsu politics and jiu-jitsu. I mean, it's community. So it's like, and the humans are involved. Yeah. So who knows what will occur.
Once again, though, I really appreciate you stepping into that role, and you've done it really well.
Shit, dude, that blows my mind to hear that, man. I think about it all the time, and that's all I want. I make sure that I'm not like letting anyone down, and I want to make sure that I'm being that. So to hear that from you, that's pretty fucking awesome.
Well, I think you should be able to tell by now that the classes just keep growing.
They keep growing. They keep growing.
One or two just start getting added and added and added.
Yeah, and I love that. Because it's so funny because I grew up in a very different jiu-jitsu life, than most people. Yeah. Because 11 years ago, it was like Robin had not structured the academy the way it is now. Yeah. We had a couple classes a night. There was a lot of rolling, a lot of gritty, grindiness. You know what I mean? Like, so back then it was like, okay, like if you were a gamer, like you were ready to roll, but like if you weren't, like maybe you wouldn't come back, maybe you'd train for a while and then not, now we're like, I'm trying to give people that opportunity to get grindy and like to really flourish. Cause that's, let's be honest, man, you got jiu-jitsu, you can learn it, but the best way to learn it is to put it into real time, and like fight your friends in the fake time. You do that enough, like you get better at it. So, and to embrace that is important, and it'll just do all the other things that jiu-jitsu does for you as far as human progression. It's a great progressionary tool. It's like, you can use martial arts, specifically jiu-jitsu, to better yourself in a lot of different ways. And one of those things is to like, to put yourself in the fire. It's huge. So you put yourself in the fire, you grind it out, you learn more about yourself, learn more about your own jiu-jitsu, learn about how to get better, and then it just puts you in better tiers of progression than you would be if you just went. So I think now implementing these comp classes and things that we've done at the academy, like it's going to start opening people's eyes that might be right there or have no idea, and then they come to one of those classes and they go through the meat grinder and they're like, wow, man. And we're all supportive. And if you want to take a break, trying to make it welcome for everybody. And I think that's going to start, we'll start seeing more gamers, like guys that you're like, I wonder about that guy. And then like 6 months later, you're like, that guy getting pretty good. So
I can see it already.
That's all I want, man. I just want people to have fun and then also believe in themselves and their own jiu-jitsu journey and grind it out, man. Because, the more you train, the better you're going to get and the better everybody else will get. So collectively, man, we can build something really special, and it just really takes motivating others and then also being present yourself. Yeah. So I just like, even if I deal with some injuries, I'm still there, running it or rolling on my back or doing whatever I can to be a part of that and make it and keep it going. Yeah. So I'm gonna keep trying, dude. Just keep going.
All right. Well, I don't think we can end on a better note than that.
Boom.
Thank you for being on.
You're welcome, brother.